So it's Wednesday, June 13th. I was just walking home. I got off the subway and I was really just kind of stuck in my head. I was coming out of the subway station, and when you come out of the station, you go down this little hill that leads to Broadway. And there's this apartment complex right there. You go down this hill and there's Broadway, and then there's my building. I noticed that there was this group of guys, this group of kids. They seemed like kids, young guys, all kind of standing around in this group. I don't know how many, like not a lot, like 5 maybe. And I don't know, my instincts were just like, okay, I don't know what they're doing over there. I'm just going to avoid them. I just kept walking down the street, and a little further down, and then I moved over to the sidewalk, and I was just like around the corner from my place. I had my headphones on, there's nobody really coming or going. One of those guys ran up behind me and punched me in the head. Right here. It didn't really hurt. I just felt like this thump. Like when you smack your head on something. I turned around, and this kid, he had come up and he had smacked me, and it took me a minute to kind of get what had just happened. And I said, ow. I reached into my bag and I pulled out my keys, and I saw, like, one of the guys was like, one of the other guys was like, what are you gonna get, huh? What are you getting? What are you gonna get? Like I was pulling out a knife or something, and I pulled out my keys. I had my headphones plugged in, and I pulled out my cell phone, and I just kept walking. They kept following me, like the group of them, and this is really weird. And I just dialed 911, and it said emergency call. And the operator came on and asked what the emergency was. And I didn't even know what to say. I paused for a minute because I was like, what am I saying? Why am I calling? By the time anyone gets here, they're going to be gone. And I turned around, and sure enough, they had already ran off someplace. But it's like I did it because I needed to say it. I needed to tell somebody. I just got... Some stranger just punched me in the head. I didn't even get the sentence out. I just said, I just was... And then I hung up. And then I walked to my building, and I came inside, and my heart is kind of pounding, and I just sat down to say this. I didn't try to fight or anything, and I feel really weird about that. And I had a really rough day. And it's just like the craziest end to a day. I mean, I've lived here for about 8 years or so, and I've never been afraid. I've never been in any danger. Nothing like that's ever happened to me before. I've never been called, a gay name, and it's just weird that this happened. So my head hurts a little bit. I had a weird day at work. So I left work and I met up with a friend of mine. We hung out for almost like 2 hours, and it was just really good to catch up with each other. And he talked a lot about, what he and his boyfriend have been going through. And I just talked about kind of where I've been at lately, emotionally, and it felt good to be talking about this with somebody who wanted to hear about it. We met up with his boyfriend just down the block at a cafe, having drinks, and it felt like a kind of a nice day. I felt like I was getting over the rough day at work. And I got up to say goodbye, actually had my bag on, and then they both were kind of like, oh, don't look around. And I turned around, and there was my ex-boyfriend, Pedro, with his friend. I went through a really hard time with that breakup. And it wasn't that long ago, And sometimes it still sits very fresh. Right away I gave him a hug and a kiss, and I said hi. It was just weird. He looked a lot thinner. That made me kind of sad because, you know, you always hope that when you run into the ex, you're gonna be the one that looks great. And I know that I'm not. After I left my friends, I had a ticket. I had 2 tickets actually waiting for me at a theater to go see some play. And I couldn't get anyone to come with me. So I went by myself, and it was really weird. I just really was aware of the fact that I was sitting next to an empty seat with nobody, which makes you sad, I guess. I don't really know why I came home and sat down and started doing this video. I think because I just don't want to carry today with me. I just don't. And I don't want to carry what happened out there with me. And I feel weird that I didn't finish that 911 call. But I feel stupid that I called in the first place. And I feel stupid that I didn't turn around and try to defend myself. And it's just weird. I feel really weird right now. And I don't know. I want to put this out there because I don't want to keep it in. And I don't have anyone I want to call and tell. You know? So that's really all I have to say about this day. I'm just glad it's over. And that tomorrow is a fresh start. And that the things that happen to us that we don't like, you know, they don't define us. And my sadness and my loneliness, you know, it doesn't define me. It doesn't mean that that's all I have. And there are good days with the bad days. So that's it. That's all for today.